Hello and welcome back. Today we've got a little presentation on WriteScore and conventions. This is going to make up 20% of your overall score. We're going to talk about a scoring breakdown, capitalization, punctuation, spelling, usage, and sentence formation. And that seems like a lot to jam into just 2 points or 20% of your score. And it is. However, what they're really looking for right now is, at least by the way that they've structured their scoring, is that they're looking more for how you structure your essay and how you express your own thoughts. But this section of the essay is just as important, and I feel like this will serve you uh, just as well later on paying attention to this section. And you can't get a 10 without getting a perfect score in this section. The scoring breakdown conventions, like I said, makes up 20% of your overall raw score. Conventions is made up of capitalization, punctuation, spelling, usage, and sentence formation. Each of these sections makes up approximately 4% of your overall raw score. For capitalization, there's some general rules to follow. The first word of every sentence is always capitalized. The word I and any of its contractions are always capitalized. The first word of a quoted sentence is capitalized. Proper nouns like the Statue of Liberty, Randy Rosarina, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, all of those are capitalized, but you can see that of in the FBI's title is not capitalized, and we'll talk about that later. A person's title when it precedes his, her, their names: Dr. Smith, Mrs. Johnson, Principal Iben, the P would be capitalized there. Assistant Principal Obera, the A and the P would be capitalized. Any title when used in a direct address. So there you can see I left a comical little sentence there. Then compass points, but only when they refer to specific regions. For instance, I was raised in the South because that refers to a region of the United States that would get a capital letter or a capital S. But if you said birds fly south for the winter, you're talking about a direction, and that would not be capitalized. And then finally, the first word in all the words and titles of books, articles, works of art, etc., excluding short prepositions and conjunctions. So, like we can see here among us, Ricky Tikki Tavi and the monsters are due on Maple Street, and you can see that short preposition there on, just like of in the Federal Bureau of Investigation is not capitalized, but everything else is. Punctuation, some common mistakes that I see in my classes. Be sure to include end punctuation, but make sure it's the correct end punctuation. Make sure you're putting periods, question marks, things like that in there. It helps keep you from run-on sentences, but it also makes your writing more clear. Use apostrophes to show possession. You've got a example there. Jenny's book is on the table. The apostrophe S at the end of Jenny shows that the book is Jenny's. But don't use apostrophes on possessive pronouns. Hers, his, ours, yours. Those words do not get apostrophes. It's a common mistake even adults make. Avoid run-on sentences. Make sure you're using the end punctuation, or when you read the sentence out loud, if you see a natural break in there, that's a good way to note that you might need a comma there. And we'll talk more as the year goes along on how to recognize exactly where to place commas. Place quotation marks in the correct places, and that's important because we're always going to be citing evidence in our essays. So it's important that we know where to place our quotation marks, and you want to place them before the quote starts and then after the end punctuation, unless you have a sentence where the end punctuation does not agree with the end punctuation of the quote. And then you would put for instance, if you were quoting a statement and you were asking a question with that quote at the end, then you would have the question mark outside of the quotation marks. But for our purposes, you are normally just going to put the end punctuation inside of the quotation. Spelling and usage. Spelling and usage are both skills that come with practice. Spelling scores are based on the number of misspelled words. Usage scores show that you are probably using words you included in your essay correctly or properly using those words. The best part about practicing these skills is that they can be done through reading as well. These are skills that you pick up as you see other authors or even your peers or your teachers using them. Hearing people talk, reading the written word. These are all ways that we can pick up on proper usage. But reading the written word and even reading the lyrics to songs, that all that kind of stuff helps us pick up on how words are spelled. And really, vocabulary is gained not just by looking up definitions, but it's more interactions with the word. So you can hear the word, you can use the word yourself, you can read other people use the word, and those are all interactions that help you learn that word better. So the more you practice your reading, the more you will improve your spelling and usage. And most of the programs we use will also give you spelling and usage tips the more you use them. And then finally, there's some usage that's common. Even adults, even some of your teachers make these mistakes from time to time. And so there, and there. There is the location. There shows possession. And there is a contraction of the words they are. And then underneath you have your and your, which is illustrating the picture to the left. And then the other your nobody uses anymore, but you might hear that in poems or in old literature, and they might say the days of yore. Just means a long time ago. But nobody really says it anymore. That's why I have it crossed out. Sentence formation. This section is concerned with the use of sentence types and sentence structures. The types of sentence is declarative, you're making a statement. Interrogative, you can ask a question. An imperative is giving a command. And imperatives are great ways to talk to your reader without actually saying you. So if you give your reader a command like, think about what the future would be if animals could do more for human beings, that allows you to direct the question or direct the statement at your reader, but it doesn't. You don't have to use the word "you" when you make that statement. And then exclamatory, which we will rarely use, and a lot of you think that capital letters is internet yelling, and I guess on social media it is, but when you use an exclamation point, that also signifies that you are at least getting excited, or at least what you're saying should be said in an excited way. The sentence structures, you have simple sentences, compound sentences, which is two simple sentences put together, complex sentences, and compound complex sentences, which is two complex sentences put together.